The aroma of roasting herbs and simmering sauces hung heavy in the air of La Fleur Noire, a restaurant famed throughout Paris for its unparalleled culinary experiences. Chef Jean-Pierre, a man of meticulous precision and unsettling calm, oversaw his kitchen with an eagle eye. His dishes were legendary, each a masterpiece of texture, flavor, and presentation. Patrons flocked from across the globe, willing to pay exorbitant prices for a seat at his exclusive establishment. But behind the polished veneer of culinary excellence lay a disturbing truth. Jean-Pierre's secret ingredient, the one that elevated his dishes beyond mere deliciousness to an almost transcendent level, was harvested from the catacombs beneath the city. It was a peculiar fungus, luminescent and pulsating with a faint internal light. It grew only in the deepest, darkest recesses of the ancient burial grounds, nourished by the very essence of decay and death. He ventured into the labyrinthine tunnels each night, his headlamp cutting through the oppressive darkness, his footsteps echoing eerily in the silence. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and something else, something indescribably ancient and unsettling. He never spoke of his nocturnal expeditions, nor did anyone dare question him. His staff, bound by a mixture of fear and awe, simply followed his instructions. They prepared the fungus according to his exacting specifications, their hands trembling slightly as they handled the unearthly substance. The subtle, almost imperceptible flavor it imparted to his dishes was beyond description. It added a depth, a complexity, a certain je ne sais quoi that made his food unforgettable. One evening, a renowned food critic, Monsieur Dubois, dined at La Fleur Noire. He savored each course with meticulous attention, his palate a finely tuned instrument. The critic's expressions shifted subtly throughout the meal, starting with a hint of curiosity, then building to intense fascination, and finally ending in a silent, almost reverential awe. He finished the meal, sitting in stunned silence for several minutes before speaking. "Magnifique," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Absolutely magnifique. He had tasted the secret ingredient, though he didn't know its origin. The next morning, Monsieur Dubois pennied his review, praising La Fleur Noire in glowing terms. He described the food as a symphony of flavors, an experience beyond compare, and a testament to the chef's genius. His words spread like wildfire, solidifying La Fleur Noire's reputation. Yet he wrote nothing of the subtle unease that had lingered in the air, nothing of the strange, almost ethereal aftertaste of the dishes. He did not want to risk his reputation on such an unbelievable tale. It simply couldn't be true, could it? But the truth was darker than any review could capture. Jean-Pierre, in his relentless pursuit of culinary perfection, had unknowingly crossed a line. The fungus, he soon discovered, had begun to affect him. He found himself becoming increasingly withdrawn, his once sharp eyes now shadowed with a disturbing intensity. His sleep was plagued by vivid, unsettling nightmares. He saw the faces of the long dead, their eyes staring blankly up from the darkness. He heard their whispers, their silent pleas for release. His obsession with the fungus deepened. He needed more. He needed to push the boundaries, to explore the darkest corners of the catacombs. He was no longer just a chef, he was something else, something consumed by the very thing that made his food so exceptional. He had become a conduit for the ancient darkness. What would happen if he took one step further? Would it be possible to bring back those he has lost? No, he decided. It was a terrible idea. The line between genius and madness blurred. His creations, once brilliant, began to take on a sinister edge. The flavors became sharper, more intense, more disturbing. The subtle unease his patrons once felt had now transformed into a tangible dread. His reputation, once untarnished, was starting to crumble. People spoke of odd occurrences after dining at La Fleur Noire, vivid nightmares, unsettling dreams, a strange emptiness that clung to them like a persistent shadow. Jean-Pierre remained oblivious. He continued his nocturnal pilgrimages, his obsession growing stronger with each passing day. The fungus, his forbidden treasure, was pulling him deeper into its embrace. He knew he was pushing boundaries, playing with forces beyond his comprehension. Yet he could not stop. The allure of the catacombs, of the fungus, of the untold perfection he believed it held, was simply too strong. Would he ever find a way out? Could he ever find peace? The city, the food, his customers, all of these things were fading into the background as his true obsession took hold. What did it all mean? Did he really want to find out? He shivered and continued his routine. The end was always just around the corner, but he chose to ignore the warning signs. The darkness was calling, and he felt he had little choice but to answer. Was this all worth it? This was the question he never allowed himself to answer truthfully. The truth, it seemed, was a dish best left untasted.